truth be told, in our society today, we are so obsessed with looks. Many of us, we sort of overlook the really important things in life, I came to this realization these past few months, I want to say a year now, where, so I grew up and I was kind of blatantly told that I wasn't pretty growing up, not to be like a pity party thing, because this is not the intention of this video. Who cares if I'm not pretty or if I'm ugly to a lot of people? What does it matter, at least now I can say that. And I understand people have their arguments as to why looks may matter, blah, blah, blah. They're going to say things like, well, humans have internal need for validation and community, right? And the truth is, I think you should just embrace the way you look, because if it causes such a visceral reaction from people, then that's your clear indication of people's true nature, How many times have you heard a story of someone who has said, I looked a certain way and then I did this, this, and this, and then people started treating me differently, and it gave them like this sense of sadness because it made them wonder why they weren't treated normally before, I personally don't believe anyone is ugly. I really don't. I do believe that people can have ugly souls. Not to say that people can't change, but I do believe that people can have ugly souls, ugly personalities, ugly attitudes. Because when I was younger and I used to get told by strangers, ex-friends, even like family members, distant ones, they would insult and say things like, I look like a guy, I look sad, I look mad, blah, 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 right? And I would think, if you think I'm ugly, how do you view people who were born with maybe birth defects or an accident or some traumatic event happened and, altered their appearance? What does that say about you? Because, and what triggers them to say that? Because even though I know what it's like to hear those comments, I couldn't possibly bring myself to bring down someone based on their looks, right? And sometimes when I talk about it now, some people assume it's for pity, but I don't need pity. Pity doesn't get you anywhere in life, I think it's more just open conversation, and for me it's curiosity. I want to know why people say certain things and how people think. Why? I think I'm just one of those people that just wants to dig deeper, even if I know the answer won't be anything revealing or anything that's actually worth pursuing, like in this, this is what I look like, right? But this is the actual angle, what I look like, right? This is why social media alters appearance, right? You gotta remind yourself. And see, automatically that just makes my face look a little bit more symmetrical. And then wait, if I add a beauty filter, boom, erases a lot. And if I add lighting, that changes it more, doesn't it? But it's all a lie. You gotta remember, a lot of this stuff is just a lie, really. But you know what? I think sometimes you just have to embrace it. And if people have a problem with that, so be it. What does it matter? At the end of the day, I think I used to be so obsessed about looks, and I was so dead set on changing my appearance through plastic surgery and all these different things because I just wanted people to see me in a different light, just be accepted in a different way. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't need any of that because after I started having health issues, I realized things like your health, family, friends, the ability to see, to eat, to walk, to breathe, to touch, to feel, those things can be ripped away at any moment. Any moment. No one's guaranteed anything in this life. No one is. You can get privileges, earn those privileges, but they can be ripped away any time, any moment in life. Right? And for me, that was a huge wake-up call of, you know what? Just accept yourself for who you are. And if people don't like it, what does it matter? They're not paying your bills. It's not like you would you really want to befriend these people in the first place? Let's be honest, yeah. I think for me, the concept of finding romantic love with the way I looked just it doesn't seem plausible. I think now more than ever because it's like, if women like Beyonce can get cheated on, I have no look. But that's fine, We have the love of family and friends and cats. I have my cats, That's fine. That's cool. Not a big deal, We move. But this sort of importance that society places on appearance so much. Yes, you can get all the praise and all the love and all the compliments and all these different things. Maybe you become famous on the internet and then you start getting all these brand deals, all this money coming in, and then what happens? You start to live a life devoid of meaningful connection, where people only want to befriend you because of your looks or your money or your status. And it's like this weird cycle, right? Different cycles that go on. And honestly, it isn't until life humbles one that we sort of wake up, rude awakening. And the truth is, even though you may feel ugly, people may tell you they don't like your appearance, maybe they tell you so many different things. Would you truthfully want to please people who wouldn't accept you as you are now? Like, if they can't accept someone just because they think their natural appearance or the way they were born is so disgusting to them, do you think those people would want to be around you if something happened to you or one of your features was morphed or something? You got to think about that. Would you honestly want to be friends with people like that? Would you want to be associated with people like that? I mean, if you do, that's fine. Some people might say it's coping, but I mean, come on. At the end of the day, everyone's looks fade. And no one is granted the privilege of aging because, I mean, let's face it, you could die today, you could die tomorrow, you could die next week, a year from now, Like existence, there's so many questions about the whole point of existence, but we spend so much time on things that don't matter. They don't contribute anything meaningful to society. Let's face it. Yes, I mean, you can be beautiful. I mean, you won't lie. Beautiful people are nice to look at, but there's more to life than obsessing over looks. It's fine. I'm not saying stay. If you want to change your appearance, that's fine. You don't have to stay as you are. You don't have to be mediocre. You can always go for more, but you can accept yourself and love yourself as is, as you work on yourself, There's no need to hate the flesh you're in already, That would be such a shame to live like that. And Like, I wish I could kind of go back to when I was younger, and I'm gonna sit down. And I would honestly just have a conversation with the kid I was, because there were some other traumatic events that happened, but I would say one of the biggest things I focused on a lot growing up was my appearance, because I hated my face. I hated my reflection. I hated skin tone, hair color, my side profile. I'm not ashamed anymore. What does it matter? Millions of people. You know, I was like, why would it cause so many people to treat me as less than? And I'm not the only one. There are so many people that take different routes with this. Some people become so affected, they grow up hyper-focusing on appearance, ignoring everything else. Some people repeat the cycle and they bully others. Some people just, don't care. I commend those people. I really wish I wasn't so sensitive. I feel like my life would have been a lot different if I hadn't focused so much on the way I looked. You know, growing a thick skin. I mean, at least now that I'm older, I have that. Because I kind of realize, you know, after you have so many health issues and health problems, you kind of realize, you know what, I could vanish any day. What does it matter, you know? But definitely one of those things that saddens me is people who believe they don't deserve human decency just because some person or group of people tell them mean comments, you know. It can happen to anyone, man, woman, etc. It's such a shame. Like, I will never understand that. I'll never understand it. I guess maybe there's some sort of human evolution explanation as to why. I mean, maybe some people theorize that symmetry signifies that you have good genes that'll be passed down. I guess maybe an indicator that your genetics are fine. But I mean that's not true, right? Just because your features are asymmetrical, it doesn't warrant you being treated unfairly, you know? I think that's a stupid excuse for shitty behavior or shitty words. That doesn't excuse it. I'll be vulnerable here. I used to be very suicidal about the way I looked when I was younger, when I was a teenager. I'm 24 now. But 10 years ago, when I was 14, 15, I wanted to just, I honestly, I just wanted to cry because I didn't like my appearance. I just didn't like it. I thought it was too, I thought it was just all these different things. I was like, you know what? What does it matter? You know, now that I'm here now. But I do think it's sad, you know. And even when I was 14, it caught up to me when I was 19, 18. I ended up in the psych ward because of that and many other reasons. But it is sad how one of the important things is if you really want to change the way you look, I would really suggest taking care of yourself. And I don't mean like hyperfixating on your appearance to the point where you start to lose sense of who you once were. I would suggest doing your best to take care of your hygiene, your health, and then do great in school or do great in a hobby and work, and maybe and get money and change your appearance if you really want to. And if you really want to, at least talk to a counselor or therapist before you embark the journey of any cosmetic procedures or plastic surgery, because those are life-altering. They will change your own perception of who you were, or who you once were, or who you want to become, right? There are stories of people who change one thing and then they start to find other imperfections because they're so used to self-criticism that their brain just can't handle not criticizing themselves. So you want to reach a place where if you're doing it, you're doing it because it's not coming from a place of self-hatred. It's okay to accept yourself and want to change. There's nothing wrong with if you want to change yourself. You know, but I'm not a professional, so I'm just sort of blabbering, yapping about experiences or thoughts I have. So take it with a grain of salt, but honestly. And I mean, even now, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do want to fix certain things that I can. But then I'm like, I think there are more important things in life, such as being okay. Because the unpredictability of life is very terrifying. I can honestly, truthfully tell you that. After having a couple of surgeries unexpectedly, health-wise, I'm like, maybe plastic surgery is a no-go for now. Possibly for the rest of the future, but I do feel for you if you're experiencing maybe bullying or harassment, exclusion. I know what that feels like, to be excluded just because, again, if people just don't feel like, I don't know how to explain it without, I hope this doesn't come off as attention seeking, because that's not my point. I don't know how to express properly. Sometimes I'm really terrible at communication, honestly. I think now in my 20s, now that I'm older, I'm barely finding my voice when it comes to speaking on things. I guess that sort of certain liberties you realize after going through so much. I would hate for others to have to experience life-altering situations for them to wake up and realize these things. Because we can all say it, right? But I mean, once you live through certain things, you sort of have this urgency to warn people to do or not do things. That's for their own good. This is for your own good, right? Because life is short. And you might say like, well, I've had so many experiences with people who told me off because of something of my appearance. You have to remember that there are people like us who won't focus on appearance like that. You always have to remember that. Just because some people do it doesn't mean everyone or all people do it, And that can be hard to remember in a world that's so focused on judgment, especially online. Being vulnerable online can be super scary, but again, I feel like I'm at that point where I'm like, what do I have left to lose? And I would hate for other people to have to reach such a point for them to open up their eyes. You know what I mean? But frick, if anyone has anything to say badly about you, you know who you are. You should love yourself and accept yourself as is. And I promise you, you will meet people who will love and care for you as is. And just stay truthful to who you are in this world. Honestly. That's, I think, all I can say. My brain is so, scrambled, going everywhere. But yeah.